invited here today. My name is Shizuka Ko from Osaka University. Before I start my presentation today, I'd like to introduce myself briefly. My name is Shizuka. Shizuka is the same name as Suka in Vietnam. This is the anime from Doraemon. Okay, right now I'm working in Osaka University, Japan. My research interests are quality vision and cornea, and keratoconus, and dry eye, tear film, and contact lenses. Today, I'd like to give you the overview of definitions and statements and recommendations for the diagnosis and management for keratoconus. Actually, today my presentation is based on the global consensus on keratoconus and ectatic disease. This paper was published in 2015, 4 years ago in Korea. Thank you. And also, after I give you the overview, I'd like to give you some updates about keratoconus. Okay, as you know, keratoconus is a major corneal ectatic disorder that manifests as a progressive corneal thinning and protrusion. Progressive is a kind of very important thing in keratoconus. Usually, keratoconus is bilateral disease. So, based on the global consensus, true unilateral keratoconus does not exist. And also, keratoconus typically presents with asymmetry. Some patients have right eye has a very, very mild, but sometimes left eye has a very severe. It is very common. So, according to the previous papers, prevalence of keratoconus is 0.05%. You know, conus it is from the anatomical word, but this is come from cone. This is ice cream cone. Okay, so the pathophysiology of keratoconus is likely to include the following components: genetic disorder and biochemical disorder, and biomechanical disorder, and environmental disorder. So probably you know these risk factors for keratoconus. Let me give you again. So Down syndrome and familial history. If the there is some person in family, I think maybe we have to check the children very carefully. And ocular allergy and eye rubbing, ADP, and ethnic factors. ASEAN and Arabian are reported to have a higher risk of keratoconus. And floppy eyelid syndrome. Also, there are other kind of risk factors. So this is actually from the slide from Brazil, from Professor Renan Ambrosio. So right now, today is actually the last day of June. But right now, in Brazil, June is considered as actually keratoconus awareness month. So there is a kind of campaign in Brazil to enhance public awareness of keratoconus. Very, very important. So this slide shows not to rub eyes. Don't rub eyes. Okay, so then how to diagnose keratoconus? So according to the global consensus paper, these things are very important to diagnose keratoconus. So we have to check abnormal posterior elevation and normal corneal thickness distribution, whole cornea, and clinically non-inflammatory corneal thinning. These are very important. But unfortunately, currently there is no clinical adequate classification system for keratoconus. There is a very, very famous classification by Dr. Amsterdam, but this was actually developed, I think, in 1950. This is very old, but so far there is no standard actually classification system for keratoconus. Always actually discussion. Okay, so this is a very basic point. So keratoconus, in keratoconus, corneal staining typically induces irregular astigmatism, myopia, and protrusion, leading to mild to marked distortion of visual acuity. You may notice at the slit lamp examination, you can see the forked striae and fracture. You can see the dark black ring on the cornea. And this scheme shows the pathophysiology of the keratoconus. So protrusion and stromal thinning and apex disintegration. It causes irregular astigmatism. So in eyes without irregular astigmatism, the old keratometer or refractometer can measure, and also these eyes can be indicated with sphere or cylinder lenses. There is no corneal astigmatism. But if the eyes have some irregular astigmatism, usually old keratometer and refractometer cannot measure. They cannot measure such kind of irregular astigmatism. And also, it cannot be indicated with sphere or cylinder. So this is the typical actually topography map of keratoconus. So this is a map obtained with the Placido ring-based topographer. You know, Placido ring-based topographer uses the reflection of the ring images projected onto the tear film interface. So it analyzes only the anterior corneal surface, not the posterior corneal surface. Only the information about the anterior corneal surface. And after the development of topography, Placido ring topography, there is a development of tomography analysis in keratoconus. So this is shown here are the map of the from the side-proof imaging, pentagram picture, and also this is the right one is the tomographic map from the anterior segment OCT. These devices can analyze the anterior and posterior corneal surface. So since these devices can analyze the posterior corneal surface, these devices also actually produce near-full corneal thickness. It can measure the corneal thickness. There's another device, it can measure optical quality. So probably you know the waveform sensor. Currently, much attention has been given to the quality of vision in clinical practice. Standard visual acuity measurement is not perfect because it cannot measure irregular astigmatism. In this case, waveform sensor is very useful because waveform sensor evaluates optical quality quantitatively, and also it can measure sphere and cylinder and higher order aberration. Higher order aberration cannot be detected with conventional visual acuity. So this is the waveform sensor from the Topco machine. I'll show you some examples. So this is when we measure the patient. This is a waveform map from the case. So from the top left, you can see the corneal wiring image, and it also shows the corneal action map and corneal higher aberration map. And because the light from the machine come into the retina and then it go back to the machine, then it can show the kind of a lot of dot. And then the whole eye aberrations are shown in the middle. Then it also, from the whole eye aberration, spherical and cylinder are actually subtracted. Then only the ocular high aberrations are actually left. Then it is here. And also, this machine shows the retinal image simulation. Okay, I'll show you the example of keratoconus suspect. Actually, very mild keratoconus. This is the 50 years old male. So after slit lamp examination, there is no keratoconus sign. But when I measure this patient with the waveform sensor, I could see the typical keratoconus sign in the corneal axial mark. And you can actually we can focus on the higher aberration. So the top one is the higher aberration from the anterior corneal surface, and the bottom part is the higher aberration from the whole eye. You can see the same similar pattern in both anterior corneal surface and whole eye. And if you look at the retinal image, you can see the kind of the deterioration in the lateral rim. This is something like comet-like image. Okay, so this is the kind of the we also focus on the high aberration. So from the second one is a comma, and the most right one is a spherical aberration. So in keratoconus, actually, comma is the dominant higher aberration in higher aberration. This is the typical. There is no increase of spherical aberration. So this is very important to know that the comma is the dominant higher aberration. Also, there is another interesting device, biomechanical assessment. So it can tell you, it can assess the accurate IOP, intraocular pressure, and also it is useful for prediction of refractive outcome and early detection of keratoconus and ectasia. And also it is also helpful to tell the therapeutic efficacy of corneal cross-linking. I will tell you about this in my second talk. So right now, currently, management, I can tell you the management for keratoconus. So for the very mild case of keratoconus, maybe some patients actually can use soft contact lenses. But if the keratoconus is actually progressive and not so very mild, usually in our clinic, actually we manage the keratoconus patient with rigid gas permeable contact lenses, hard contact lenses. But right now, there are several actually scleral lenses are available, kind of special lenses. This is the medical management. For the surgical management, there is a lot of options. Keratoplasty and corneal cross-linking and intrastromal corneal ring segment, ICRS, and also phakic IOL. This schema shows the relationship between the severity of irregular astigmatism and age. And if the actually keratoconus is not severe, we can start from. So, very mild cases we can manage with soft contact lenses, but normally we use rigid contact lens, hard contact lens, or sometimes we use the PP back system, and also we can use a special contact lenses as well. And if the keratoconus is more severe, we can also think about actually corneal cross-linking should be actually performed in the early stage, but there is some surgical option as well. Okay, let me introduce how about the efficacy of hard contact lenses. This is the case I showed previously. So you can see that coma is a dominant higher depression in this patient. So this is a waveform map. When this patient wore the hard contact lenses, you can see the decrease of coma aberration, and also retinal image simulation is actually improved. So this is the same case without contact lens. You can see the dominant coma is actually remarkable coma in here. But when this patient wear contact lenses, the retinal image is actually improved. So hard contact lens RGPCL is actually a good indication. So as I showed today, it can improve visual performance. But if you look at the higher aberration map very closely, so without contact lens, in the higher map aberration, warmer color is up. Warmer color is top, and bottom is you can see the cooler color. But once this patient actually wears the contact lens with contact lens, then you can see the reverse pattern. So cooler color, blue color is top, and yellow and red color is actually bottom side. So this is why it happened. So this is the reason because residual astigmatism due to the posterior corneal surfaces actually we can manifest, because hard contact lens can actually improve the only anterior corneal surface. And RGB is a very good option for keratoconus, but drawbacks is actually discomfort and expensive. Sometimes actually patients actually lose contact lens very often. Shown here commercially available soft contact lens for keratoconus. Many companies actually are developing the kind of soft or special contact lenses for keratoconus. There are many companies, and also there are another small companies as well. But these contact lenses are generally actually based on the custom made. So this is very expensive, and these are very difficult to make. So very recently, we actually developed a keratoconus special design soft contact lens for keratoconus. So this concept is actually we'd like to actually not for the completely custom made. We actually use prepare the like set of the contact lens, like toric contact lens. So in this contact lens, asymmetric diopters on the posterior surface of the lens to optimize the correction of vertical coma. As I mentioned, vertical coma is the dominant higher aberration coma. This material is silicone hydrogel. Okay, let me show you the case. So this is the keratoconus patient, 23 years old female. So before so without contact lens, you can see the dominant coma. You can see a remarkable coma in this patient. And the retinal image is actually you can see the lower. But with this contact lens, you can see the improved higher aberration, and also retinal image is perfect. So coma is reduced. So we all check the component of the wavefront, and also you can see the remarkable reduction of graph performance. Okay, I'd like to summarize my presentation. So keratoconus is a multifactorial disease. So there have been dramatic changes in diagnosis and management of keratoconus and epithelial disease. So earlier intervention and diagnosis challenge are very important. So for this, accurate identification and early excited detection is a very kind of special issue. Thank you very much.
Xin cảm ơn Phó Giáo sư